Speaking about the existence of heaven or God or Jesus makes Deirdre uncomfortable. She always avoids the topic, preferring instead to use religion as her anchor to earth. She was hungover this morning, and lay with her eyes open for an hour before she could force the blankets off her tired body. She regrets that now, because she can still taste last night's cheap Shiraz. Since Ben's passing, alcohol has been Deirdre's only successful remedy to sleep. This morning, she had her coffee with a shot of Jameson. A solemn, "The word of the Lord," creeps from Father Brennan's mouth, and Deirdre follows the rest of the congregation in muttering, "Thanks be to God."
He was not built for anger. Not really. It wasn't something his frame had been pieced together to translate. His legs were just too spindly and unpredictable, his arms too much a shambles of proportion. Mr. Tickle on speed. No, whatever frustrations he might try to express would always be watered down by the comedy of his body. No one other than Ned Sheehan could possibly have let this go on for this long without coming to some sort of resolution.
He was plotting, conniving and planning his next move. The Serpentine snaked along in front of him. Birds and fowl mucked about in the shallow water. As a foie gras salesman, he would wander from market to market, selling his produce. A cyclical process. He would abduct a goose on the Serpentine and lug it back to his workshop where he would fatten it up through gavage. And all this to enable him to dress elegantly like an English gentleman. The more foie gras he sold, the more clothing he could buy, and therefore achieve his ideal aesthetic. He was almost there. All he needed now was a hat.
Breakfast, or whatever meal the time dictated food to be, required venturing outside. She was hungover. Her phone lay despondently at the bottom of the tatty tote bag she brought when shopping. She had no idea what time or day it was. She looked down and felt her skin jump. A man was lying in the doorway of the Salisbury. The resemblance was obvious and immediate. A tall, slender man with long black hair and a wild beard that reached his chest. She had nicknamed him Rasputin because of this, the collection of traits which seemed to her to convey, in an old-fashioned sort of way, ideas above one's station.
He turned the keys and quickly started driving. The road was winding and dangerous. The sunlight was blinding, but he did not adjust the visor. His thoughts lost form and began to drift across his mind like amorphous clouds in a deep blue sky. Only when they parted did he realise that he was nearing the peak once more. He had lost track of how long and how far he had walked. The trees seemed endless, and he grew worried that he would not find his way back. Sometimes, he recalled, he would have driven with her into forests like these. He thought back to before he fell in with the poison ranks of strangers. He thought back to the time she lost her jewellery in the sand. She had burrowed a little hole into the coastline for her rings and her necklace so that she would not lose them. And when they came back, gleaming, they saw that they had been swept so far across the beach that they'd lost all hopes of ever finding them again. He remembered what it felt like to be gleaming.